one's really...
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We're here back on ACC for another season on the PlayStation platform, here for the GT3 League on a Wednesday night. My name's Andy, and tonight I'm joined in the box by a man who's usually out on the track for this series, but this season he had to pull out of all the championships due to a little glitch with his pedals. That is Ryan Ruby, who is one of our new coordinators and members of the staff team here on the Discord server. Ryan, welcome to the box, mate. First time in here, obviously watching the race from the sidelines today. And how do you feel about this this slightly new vantage point here tonight?
It's not too bad. It's good to see who I've got to beat when I try and make my comeback towards the end of this season, which should hopefully be in a couple of rounds' time. But yeah, no, it's going to be a good bit of practice to see where these guys are standing for the rest of the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously we saw the practice session a few moments ago was in the slightly damp conditions. Now we've got greasy conditions. Those of you who played ACC will know that greasy means pretty much dry, albeit with a few little slippery spots here and there. So we'll be seeing more or less the sort of lap times you'd see in the dry, maybe a couple of seconds off of the dry lap times that we've been used to seeing over the course of the practice. But nonetheless, these drivers are going to do it here and now because they've only got one shot at this. You only can do one lap in this qualifying here at Motive for the GT3, so you've got to do it there and then. There's no second chances. It's literally about delivering under pressure in the moment. As we see, Nilsson's just stacked it there coming through the his-stop chicane. So he'll be, I'm sure, just trying to get those tyres back into their right zone again. Chris has pitted, so Chris is not going to do a lap here in this qualifying session.
He's not going to make it out in time. I noticed that on the run over the hill that he stopped into the chicane.
Nilsson's also Nilsson's also had a bit of a crawling moment here. He's had to back out a little bit, so we see a few drivers just moving past him. He's now looking for a bit of space here. Oh, Denny Boy's just lost it coming through. I think that's Druids there. I think he's lost it. So Denny Boy there is going to struggle. He's struggling. Oh, and somebody else.
Tony as well.
Tony Danjo. Yeah. Or was it? No, it was Tony Danjo. So right, we see
Windsor has just returned to the pit stop.
Yeah, so that's not going to be ideal at all for him then. So Speedy Chris has got himself back out there, but he's not going to get round in time to start a lap. So he's well and truly shot himself in the foot.
For Cod Lungu as he's coming through the final sector now, with 28 seconds to go, he might just be able to nab a lap in as he's about to start his flying lap with a nice bit of fresh air.
Yeah, here he comes. Got a little bit of a wiggle out of the last corner, but he will get over the line in time. Denny Boy's just coming up through towards the Shell Oil hairpin. You've got Pete Bibb who's just coming into Lodge. I'll tell you what, Pete Bibb's not going to get around in time, or is he already on a lap? I'm not sure. Nonetheless, Pete Bibb up towards the line. Is this going to be, I think this is a flying lap actually.
Pete Bibb was on a flying lap, but he invalidated. So Pete Bibb will be down the pack. Here comes Guitar Rich, a driver that has been progressing over the last few seasons. He's going to go and set a 1:39.4.
Lovely lap there from Guitar Rich. Speedy Chris invalid.
To be
Spuzz.
Surface. Spuzz. Okay. 3 seconds off the pace. Here comes Torde into the final corner, into this really tricky right-hander over the crest. Not too much throttle as you will lose the back end. Just on that crest where Torde is then. And up to the line he comes. Where will he go? He's going to go P3. Unfortunate lap for Torde there.
But Guitar Rich really setting a blistering pace at the moment. Seems to be the man to beat. And obviously with the greasy track, he's got it in early. But the rain doesn't really seem to be coming down. So Archie's lost it out of the last corner. So he's not going to set pole over. Archie's had a huge wiggle there. Tony Danjo's going to be next over the line. He's got a bit of damage on the front of that AMG. Nonetheless goes P3 anyway. So that's a decent time there from him. Who else is coming through? Cod's just got a few corners left to go now. Is Nilsson still on that? No, Nilsson's pitted. So it's going to be Cod Lungu, the last driver here to set a lap time. Is it going to be pole here? He needs a 1:39 to get on pole.
He's just invalidated, I've just noticed.
Has he? Oh no. So Guitar Rich taking the first pole position of the season. Great job from Guitar Rich here. He's clearly been putting in the work over this pre-season. And Guitar Rich with his first ever pole here at Motive in the GT3s here on ACC. Fantastic job in that Lexus. Denny Boy on his debut here in the league is going to be starting this one on the front row alongside him. Tony Danjo will start this one in third with Spuzz in fourth place. Then you've got Torday fifth, followed by Pete Bibb in P6. Followed by Nilsson 7th. Archie in 8th place, didn't get a lap in. Speedy Chris ruining his chance at the start. And Ryan's not actually in the race session. He is in the comms box alongside myself. That is a glitch there. Connolly will be starting towards the back in P10 for this race. And Windsor will be in P11, having not got a lap in either. Only 5 drivers getting a lap in. And Guitar Rich really nailing his one shot at pole. And I've got to say, Ryan, it's a surprise that he's on pole, but the big surprise is the gap that Guitar Rich has got at the top of that leaderboard. He really did nail his one shot there.
Sorry. Yeah, he has. And you can see that he's been putting in the practice in to put him on the top step of people to watch out for this season. As we are currently missing a couple of drivers, but for Guitar Rich, who was mid-pack last season when I was racing, he's improved massively.
Pedal. Rapid Duck was supposed to be here, didn't say he wasn't coming, but he's not here. Snooky said his essay's not high enough, so he can't join.
Pre-practice times, there is a group of 6 cars that were within a second in the practice session, so those guys just obviously didn't get their laps in on that race time, which was it was Spuzz, Guitar Rich, Pete Bibb, Danny Boy, Speedy Chris, and Nilsson.
What were the times
6
in the practice?
Were 136.3, and Nilsson was a 136.9.
I imagine that these were probably in full dry conditions, unlike the qualifying that we just saw, which was in greasy.
Which was a damp.
Yeah. So that's obviously going to be exciting because we have got the full dry now.
Yeah, we also got to be careful because the track is showing up as green at the moment, so the tyres won't be able to light up as best as possible compared to it being a optimum or a fast track. So these guys are going to have to weave a bit harder to get the temperature in their tyres, but not to do it too much and spin out. And if you spin out and you're stuck on that grass and you lose time to the to where you should time to the place you should be in the formation, you could end up in the pit lane.
Yeah, for sure. For those who are unaware of what the green track setting means on ACC, basically a green track is a track where it has been wet and it's drying out, so there's still moisture. Obviously the grass might still be damp, so getting offline, getting off onto the grass, so any excursions are going to be punished more severely than if it was, say, a full dry day, because as soon as you get off of that track, that car is going to be skating around and it's going to make it more likely for people to end up in the wall should they go off the track. So it's going to be more challenging, and it can certainly lure you into a false sense of security when the track looks dry, but on the face of it there's still just a little bit of moisture hanging around. So it's going to be exciting to watch. Again, we're not quite sure what the lap times were done in the practice. I think they might have been done on optimal, those 136s. So we might not be seeing the times going as quickly as what we saw in the practice session earlier at the start of this race.
Definitely was done on in a dry temperature, because Guitar Rich's qualifying lap was a 139.4, so that was 3 seconds slower than his practice time.
That was on greasy. So it might have been on a green track, it might have been on fast, it might have been on optimal. We're not 100% sure, but I have a sneaking suspicion that the 136s were done on optimal. But nonetheless,
from the time gap, I would say it would have been optimal or fast, because the track acclimatization changes massively when it gets to green, from green to fast optimum.
100%, mate. I think you're right. As here we come in towards the Lodge corner here, we're about to go racing for the first round of the season. Bit of a particular grip, we've already said what the reasons are for that. Obviously it's summertime and middle of July, a lot of people are on holiday, so hopefully next week we'll have a few more in the grid. We'll have a lot of the regulars back, Recco Vantage, Giant Sabre, TTV, to name a few, just a few of the guys who are missing this week. But here we come up towards the line, about to go racing here at Oulton Park for another season here, season 10 on ACC here at Motive on the PlayStation 4. Here we go, we're racing now down towards Old Hall Corner. We come for the first time. Tony Danjo there in third place. We've got somebody who seems to have gone a bit wide there. Nilsson is making a move on somebody, but in towards Cascades we come for the first time.
Massive position change as you come across the timing line. Kodalungu up to P5 off the start from being in P10.
Wow, Kodalungu has made incredible gains here at the start of this race. Denny Boy has taken the lead off of Guitar Rich and now has P1 in this race. You've got Spuzz there running in third place ahead of Tony Danjo. So Spuzz has gained ahead of Tony. Tony was obviously third on the grid, but Spuzz is now up ahead of him. Kodalungu here in fifth. Also, just to clear up one thing, there are two Tonys on this grid. You've got Tony Danjo, but you've also got Torde, whose name is Tony. So obviously they both have the same first name, but one of them is actually called Tony on his PSM, whereas the other one is not. As here we go, we've got Speedy Chris down the inside of Pete Bibb into the Histop chicane. He's made the move up into sixth place, as Torde in the background has got Nilsson trying to hassle the back of him. Windsor and Archie running at the back. Archie's had a very, very scruffy first lap to this race and not the start to the season that he would have wanted at all. Guitar Rich is absolutely crawling all over the back of Denny Boy right now. Look at this, 0.2 of a second currently separating the top two. Guitar Rich qualified on pole position. Will be frustrated at having lost out on the first lap coming into turn one, but he's by no means giving up in this one at the moment. He is keeping Denny Boy guessing at this point, and Spuzz, to be fair to him, is keeping them very much in sight at this point. Tony there in fourth, also clinging to the back of him at the moment. Speedy Chris is currently looking pretty racy here on the back of Kodalungu as well. You've got Pete Bibb ahead of Torde, Nilsson in ninth, and Archie has got ahead of Windsor up into the final top 10 spot as those two continue to battle it out. But Guitar Rich, 0.4 of a second behind Denny Boy at the moment, coming through Cascades for the second time. And look at this, Denny Boy's made a bit of a mistake there, coming out of Cascades. Here goes Guitar Rich coming down towards the Island Bend. He's going to get this done, is he, Guitar Rich? Yes, he does. Oh, no! Oh, there's a big collision there between the two of them! Oh, no! And Spuzz moves through. Spuzz is now in the lead of the race. Tony Danjo is right on the back of him. But, oh my, I tell you what.
Speedy Chris has also got past Kodalungu into the Island Bend.
Yeah, so Kodalungu's moved up 3 positions in the space of one corner due to the other two spinning out and obviously making a move there on Cod as well. So
Cod is down to P. Cod is down to P into P4, by the way.
P4, yep. So sorry, Speedy Chris into third place. Spuzz leading this race, but Tony Danjo's now hassling the back of him, half a second between those two at this point. Cod has dropped off at the back of Speedy Chris a little bit. Pete Bibb running in fifth now. Denny Boy down to sixth. He's recovered reasonably well from that incident there with Guitar Rich. Torde just behind Denny Boy with Nilsson has got Archie very close on the back of him right now. But Guitar Rich has lost out enormously there. We saw him make a bit of contact with the wall coming out of Island Bend in towards Cello Hairpin. Question is, has he got damage on the car? It looked like quite a light tap into the wall. It looked like he slowed down the car quite a lot by the time he hit the wall. So maybe he would have got away without too much damage there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Guitar Rich is going to be alright.
Back between Archie and Nilsson. They are 0.2 of a second apart.
Yeah, they are indeed. Archie's looking racy here after a scruffy start to the race. He didn't really have the start he wanted at all. Dropped down to last in the very first sector of the first lap. But yeah, he's looking like he wants to get on with this and bring himself up the order a bit.
Three-way battle for the lead, which with this helicopter cam is making it look 10 times closer.
Let me flick to the helicopter cam actually, now you mention it. Oh, hold on. There we go, we're on helicopter cam now, so you can see his Spuzz has just pulled out a little bit of a gap to Tony Danjo there, coming through the Britain chicane down towards his stops they come here. And Speedy Chris is looking a bit closer on the back of Tony at the moment. These three have gapped Cod quite a bit. In fact, Speedy Chris has gained on the front two quite a lot, but Cod has dropped off at him. Pete Bibb is now closing up.
Under pressure from Pete Bibb.
Yeah, he definitely is. All Cod very wide there on the exit of Knickerbook, but Pete Bibb not really in a position to do too much about it at the moment. This helicopter cam is actually quite linear. I'm going to move to something a little bit more spread out. So yeah, Tony's dropped off of Spuzz a little bit now. Spuzz starting to pull away here at the front, but Speedy Chris is only 0.2 behind Tony, looking to make a move into turn one. He's having a little look, but he's not quite close enough to make anything happen just there.
We're closing on a Kodalungu here through T1.
Yeah, as we're looking in the
Language
background.
just getting used to how this Mercedes feels. If some of the viewers are regulars coming back to the channel, they would have seen that we done a 2-hour endurance at Silverstone a couple of weeks ago, and Codalunga just was really struggling with the Mercedes Benz, and it looks like he's a lot more in control of the car this week.
It doesn't, he definitely looks like he's got to grips with it a little bit. So just looking through the order, so currently Guitar Rich up into P10 has got ahead of Windsor, so he's made one position since that collision that we saw a few laps ago. Obviously with Denny Boy, but nonetheless, Spuz leading the race still by just under a second. Tony Danjo's keeping him on his toes at the moment. In fact, Spuz lost a bit of time to these two, Tony and Speedy Chris, just coming through that middle sector there. But at the moment, it's just looking like these three pretty evenly matched. Nobody seems to be massively quicker than either any of the other two. They all seem to be quick in their own parts of this lap. They all seem to have their strengths around this Oulton Park circuit. Spuz a bit wide there on the exit of Druids. Here goes Tony Danjo now, looking to the outside into Lodge Corner, as Spuz is going to have to defend that inside line. Tony very late on the brakes. Can he swoop around the outside here? Spuz keeps it there, pinned on the inside. Tony very wide on the curb a little bit, can't keep the momentum, and Spuz gets that back, but Tony's going to look to try and use a side draft around the outside, down towards Old Hall Corner we come. Goes late on the brakes once again. Tony's got incredible confidence on the brakes, and Spuz can't hold it, and Spuz just taps in the side. Spuz loses it there onto the grass, and he keeps it out of the wall just about, but Tony Danjo now into the lead of the race. Spuz there was, I think, realised too late that he hadn't done enough to keep onto that position on the inside, and then put the foot down trying to run him out of road, but then realised he couldn't and just had to take evasive action there. Got a little bit of oversteer.
He's making his way back up the field. He is now in P9, looking to overtake Torde here.
Archie's made a mistake. Archie's now behind Windsor, so Archie's dropped it somewhere.
Archie has spun in the final sector. As Guitar Rich is making a move on Torde into Ireland now, and made that look very easy for him to make.
Yeah, I don't think Torde fought that too hard. He obviously is aware that Guitar Rich is a contender this season, and Guitar Rich has made incredible improvements, clearly. Just looking at his qualifying
Danny
pace.
Boy looking down the inside of Pete Bibb into
His stops.
Yep.
Yep, not quite in a position to be able to make it happen just there. These two, not too far from
very
Cod.
close into it.
Yeah, I think that these two battling has just allowed Cod to stretch his legs a little bit there in P4, and in fact, now it doesn't look like, in fact, Spuz is now 4 seconds behind Tony and Speedy. And Spuz got a bit of damage. Right, I'm just watching Spuz here. I think Spuz might have a bit of damage. He just went very wide coming out of Druids. He seems to be losing more time to Tony and Speedy Chris. He's dropping back into the clutch of Cod, and Cod could be sensing a podium spot here pretty soon in this race. Also, Denny Boy is closing up onto the back of Pete Bibb still, but Cod pulling away from Pete Bibb and Denny at the moment. But like you say, Speedy Chris still keeping that pressure on Tony at the moment. And yeah, it's looking like an exciting fight here at the front. Spuz, though, I think almost certainly has damage, because he is falling off of the two leaders at a rapid rate, and you can see Cod there is gaining another half a second in the first sector.
Him coming in towards Ireland, it doesn't look like he's got any front end damage. He may have some rear end damage.
Potentially, it could be suspension, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, at this point, we see Tony and Speedy Chris still pretty close here. 0.4 of a second currently separating these two out the front, coming down towards his stops here for the 6th time. I just want to say a big shout out to everybody in the comments tonight here on the YouTube stream here on Motive. 8 likes so far, guys. Keep them coming. Great turnout in the chat. Unfortunately, we couldn't have everybody here tonight. Obviously, it is the summertime, and a lot of people away on holiday at the moment. So
looking to make a move here on Pete Bibb very shortly.
Yeah, he is 4 attempts between these two, coming up towards Warwick Bridge, and yeah, he's just trying to, I think, maybe force him into a mistake here. It doesn't seem like he's too intent on going for any rash or reckless manoeuvres. Denny Boy's being patient. Oh, as I say that, oh no, he's lost it.
Spans.
Yeah, he gets loose on the curb there. You don't want to be getting on that curb too heavily. He didn't get on the grass, but he got a bit sideways on the curb. He was trying to overcorrect the car whilst on the curb, and the car just did not want anything to do with it, and around he goes.
Another bad day in the office for Denny at the start of the race. 10 minutes in, and he's had a a shocking 10 minutes. Hopefully he can pull it back in the next
For the
49
remaining
minutes to
50.
go.
Yeah. Tony and Speedy Chris currently 3 tenths between them at the moment into Island Bend. Spuzz there continues to drop off of the top two, but Cod hasn't gained as much on Spuzz over this lap. I think Cod might have made a mistake because he's dropped back into the clutches of Pete Bibb a bit. He had pulled out a bit of a gap prior to that. Denny Boy obviously now no longer a threat to Pete Bibb, and Denny Boy's made another mistake here out of Cascade. Guitar Rich is going to pick him off with ease here coming in towards Island Bend, and Denny Boy really struggling at the moment. I don't know if he's got a bit of damage, maybe he's just got a bit of a loss of confidence maybe, but he seems to be paddling at the moment. In the meantime, Archie's on the back of Windsor for P10 as they're coming down towards Cascade. He's having a little look, but Windsor's not too fazed by that. He's obviously Archie's trying to make him think that something's going on. He's trying to make him, a bit worried, but I don't think Windsor's too concerned. I think he knows that Archie's not actually going to go for any rash or reckless manoeuvres. So he's just sitting there calmly relaxed, knows that there's nothing really to worry about. And Archie's gone wide, coming through Island Bend onto the grass a little bit, keeps it out of the wall. But that one's just kind of petered out a little bit just there then. Oh, it's Tony, big wiggle coming out of Lodge Corner, up over the line to finish lap 6 of the race. Speedy Chris looking closer than he's been in a few laps here in towards Old Hall Corner, a little bit too far back at the moment to make the move. A lot of comments coming in right now. I want to share a big shout out to everybody. John Jig, Disco Dennis, Eric the Viking, also Snooky as well, Scooter Rib Paul, Evo Wenger as well, Lightblade Flaky, Jazzman. Jazzman, last season's champion of this very championship here. Can't make it for this season, he's busy with other things, but good to see him in the chat, checking us out. Currently, we've got a great battle up the front here between Tony and Speedy Chris. It could be either of these two as your successor this season, Jazzman, or it could be somebody who's not even here this week, seeing as we've got a few away on holiday at the moment. So unfortunate we couldn't have a full grid for the season opener. I think we picked the wrong week really to start the season, but nonetheless, Tony and Speedy Chris, nothing between them at the moment. Here goes Speedy Chris. He's got a great
close.
Run. He's got a great run.
We also got Pete Bibb now within half a second of Kodalungu for P4.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, Archie's made another mistake coming out of turn 1 and has lost massive time to Windsor.
Unfortunately there, he's dropped a bit off the back of him right now, so we've still got Pete Bibb pretty close to the back of Cod at this point, and Tony Danjo's still out the front. He's got 3 tenths at the moment over Speedy Chris. So we got Flake saying, is it only a 1 hour race? No, it's just a one hour race on ACC, mate. Paul Mitchell, otherwise known as P Mitch, says go Windsor, head down, keep calm. And Disco Faces, wait, what? Another Disco? Actually, I noticed that Denny Boy's name is Disco Dennis on the Discord server. So I don't know if there's like a little team going on there. Disco Face, shout out, former teammate in a Project Cars 2 GT3 League. Used to drive in the BMW with him. We almost won a Constructors' Championship, and I almost won a Drivers' Championship in GT3 League on Project Cars 2, but we both came up short in each of our respective championships there. But nonetheless, we had some great fun over a couple of seasons there, and good to see you in the comments section there, mate. But Denny Boy's still on the back
Denny
of
Boy is
Guitar Rich.
closing on Guitar Rich now, but I'm also just looking at the split time between...
He just had a massive slide there coming out of the Cascade.
No. I was just watching the split times between Spuzz, Cod and Pete Bibb, but I've clicked away and I've clicked back to Pete Bibb, to Cod, and Cod was sat coming into Island Bend, so he's lost it through the left-hander sweeper. Doesn't look like he has got any damage, and hopefully he should be alright.
We've got a lead change. Tony Janjo's dropped it, and Speedy Chris is now leading the race by 4 seconds, so Tony must have had a moment.
Damage on the front end.
Yeah, he probably would be well advised to come in and get that fixed. As I'm just noticing also, the track condition has gone up to fast, so as the sun continues to gleam down on the track, the moisture, the little bits of moisture on the surface are now starting to make their way up into the atmosphere, and we're now seeing a faster circuit out there as Tony Danjo pits here to get that damage repaired. Just quite neatly avoids that little precinct there on the edge of the pits.
Defend this move from Archie here, coming in towards Shocking at track corner names. Oh, as Archie goes for a late move and locks the rear end up and goes straight across the grass.
Yeah, he's going to have to give that place back to Windsor.
Yeah. Oh, it's a bad place to be sitting as letting another driver through on the racing line, but at least he's given the place back.
Exactly, yeah, so all's fair, all's well that ends well, but Speedy Chris in the meantime, big lead out the front, 8 seconds now over Spurs, obviously with Tony coming into the pits, but Tony could still be a factor.
Pete Bibb has dropped massively off of Spurs on that last lap. It was about 2 seconds, it's now 2 or 3 seconds, it's now 5 seconds between Pete Bibb and Spurs, so I'm guessing Pete Bibb may have let off with having Cod Alungu spin in front of him. But Tony's pit stop is taking his time as he's just been dropped now. He should be getting underway now. Here he goes.
Yeah, that was...
So nearly a full lap down.
That was a long pit stop there for Tony. That was... yeah, certainly not what he would have been wanting there at all. But nonetheless, he crosses the pit exit line as he comes out of the pit.
The questioning of did he go for tyres in the event of wets?
Yeah, I mean, he would have probably been well advised to. I mean, he might as well at this point. I reckon the tyre deck should be a reasonably a factor around here. You would think it would be.
It's quite bad on the front right,
rear right inside
tyre. Yeah, rear right. It depends on what the car weight is really, because it wears differently on different weight cars.
You've got a very, very fast left-hander, obviously in Island Bend. You've obviously got Cascade as well, which is quite unconventional, never-ending corner. To be fair, there's a lot of corners that you take flat out and the tyres are screeching. You know, you're willing the car to turn at speeds that the tyres just do not want to go at. So yeah, you find it that they do wear up pretty quick.
Oh, someone spun ahead. That is Windsor and Archie.
Oh dear. Oh, Windsor's lost it again as he's tried to get it going. And
Windsor's now going to be getting overtaken by Tony into the final corner.
And that is the last thing that Windsor wanted there. He's been overtaken by Tony, who's already been in to make his mandatory pit stop. So Windsor obviously still yet to make his. He's been overtaken by Tony, who has come in to make his already. So Tony came in and got his pit stop done and out of the way, and Windsor's still got to do his. So that's going to be he's going to be absolutely aching watching that AMG drive off into the distance here. As Torday's got Nilsson now looming large in his rearview mirrors here. Nilsson in that yellow 36 Bentley, his traditional choice of vehicle over the last few seasons here, and Nilsson here is going to be, I think, looking to put himself into P7 as soon as he possibly can here. This is really the only battle going on right now. Keeping an eye on the battle, or not really battle, but the gap between Speedy Chris and Spuz. At this point, it's going up at the moment.
Colungu has spun again.
Oh no!
Does now put Guitar Rich into the camera shot of Colungu now.
Yeah, so Guitar Rich will. Well, to be fair, it's not been a bad drive from Guitar Rich since his early skirmish. He had the collision with Danny Boy. Interestingly, actually, Guitar Rich now ahead of Danny Boy with Danny Boy's further excursions since then. Obviously, Guitar Rich came off way worse in the actual collision itself with him and Danny Boy, but since then, Danny Boy's made another couple of mistakes. So he's now 6 seconds behind Rich. But yeah, Guitar Rich, he's currently about 25 seconds off of the lead at this point. So it's not too bad at the moment for him. Yeah, he just needs to keep this momentum going. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Guitar Rich can get himself on the podium. But one man I want to just shout out to at this point, and he's kind of gone under the radar a bit, is Pete Bibb, because he's driving a cracker of a race tonight in the Lexus.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's kept himself out of trouble, kept his nose clean, kept his head down, not drawn attention to himself, and he's currently getting the reward at the moment, standing on that final step of the podium. Obviously, we've got Tony running in 10th, who's already been into the pits to make his stop.
That pit stop was very long, so I'm expecting that Tony did take tyres and fuel, which with the regulations, you don't have to take fuel or tyres. You literally have to go and do a stop and go in theory, and you're good to go. Which stop and go is you park up, it goes up, goes down, you're out.
Yeah, exactly. So nice and easy. And Tony, well, we're not sure exactly what he did, but we've got a good idea of what occurred in that pit stop. Nonetheless, Nilsson's not gained much more on Torday over the last few laps. That gap's at 1.3, so Torday's started to respond a bit. Those two looking pretty evenly matched at this point in this battle for 7th and 8th places. Big question is, where is Tony going to come out? I reckon he might come out in second. He came into the pits in second, but he obviously had a bit of damage, which he would have probably had to...
That damage seemed quite hefty coming up on the helicopter cam. Because this is the only camera that I can get that actually tracks the car.
But he obviously didn't feel like it was needed to fix it, so maybe it wasn't as bad as maybe it looks.
Well, from the helicopter cam it has been fixed, but from the helicopter cam before the crash, after the crash, before he pitted, it did seem quite a hefty bit of damage, which it will cost him a long time to get that sorted. Even if he's lost it and hit that tyre barrier, he's hit the front left or he's hit the front right, he's going to have suspension damage, which is suspension damage takes even longer.
Yeah, for sure. It's not going to be an easy way back into this race for him. But we've got Guitar Rich.
Not.
No, but Guitar Rich has dropped off at the back of Codalunga a little bit. That's now over 3 seconds between those two. So Cod seems like he's got the pace here. I don't know if Guitar Rich has maybe just hit a bit of a flat spot in this race at this stage. But yeah, he seems like he's not really got what it takes to put Cod under pressure at this point.
It just seems like he's pulling away slightly.
Nilsson's got to get down to 3/10 with Torday. He's right on the back of him. Torday a little bit shaky. They're coming out of Old Hall down towards Cascade. Here he goes. Nilsson around the outside, and Torday lets him go. Oh no, he doesn't. Nilsson's deep.
Nilsson's gone.
Oh no. And he's going to have to spin that back round again. Gets it nicely pointing back onto the racing line.
He's got a long gap to Archie behind, so he just needs to keep his head down and push towards Torday, which Torday want to be one of my fellow team drivers along with Codalunga. I'm rooting for these boys tonight, and it just doesn't seem like they've 100% with the car. I don't know if it's the track, because whenever I come here I do struggle, and I'm definitely not pulling out of this race because I don't like the track.
No, obviously Ryan has his pedal issues, which he's struggling with at the moment, so that's his excuse anyway. Whether or not he's telling the truth, we'll just have to take his word for it, I guess, because we can't prove otherwise, so we'll have to take his word for it, unfortunately.
We'll have to do a time trial, and you can watch me drive. As Archie's spun it in the...
Yeah, we can't do a time trial if your pedals aren't working, can we, mate?
Well, you can see me.
That's true. But what was it? Guitar Rich lost it?
Guitar Rich has just... Archie's just lost it, which has now given Tony P9. So Tony is making his way up the grid. He is...
recovering quite well.
He's a good 40, 50 seconds, but he is very far behind. He's 22 seconds behind Nilsson.
I mean, the big question is, though, how long do we reckon a pit stop is here in... Or obviously
it's one of the shortest pit stops in the game. So I'm saying that a stop and go would be 22 seconds, 23 seconds.
Okay, yeah. So So he's certainly about a net 20 seconds off of the lead at this stage. Maybe.
Net 20 seconds and maybe more, depending on what Speedy Chris does and Spurs does.
I would say at this point, Tony's best bet in this race is probably a podium, I'd say.
Yeah. All he's hoping for is Pete Bibb to have an issue throughout the race, give him damage, and he can make his way up from there. But there's a very unlikely chance of him getting P1 because the gap between Pete Bibb and Speedy Chris is 18 seconds, which that's close enough to be the pit stop. So he needs to be up behind Guitar Rich, which Guitar Rich just crossed the line now. And Guitar Rich is 20 seconds behind Pete Bibb. So it's 40 seconds, and then it's 2 seconds, so 42. And then it's another 5 seconds to Kodalungu, which Kodalungu's lost P4 now to Guitar Rich and Denny Boy.
Yeah, Cod must have dropped it on the last lap. As we've currently got 13 people watching on the stream right now. Guys, smash that like button if we can. We've got currently 9 likes on the stream. Can we get 13 likes on the stream if we can? That'd be absolutely awesome. No reason why we can't have 13 likes, guys. Come on, as we said, 13 people watching. Let's get those 13 likes as we've got Speedy Chris looking good, says Jazzman. He is Jazzman at the moment. He's driving the wheels off of that Bentley, and once again, the Bentley, like we've seen over the last few seasons, seems to be the car of choice. Now, I know that it's not as OP as we initially had suspicions that it might be. We're going to go on to this topic again, are we? We are.
No, I've just gone onto the replay to see where Kodalungu crashed. Kodalungu, yet again, had spun coming through Island Bend. He didn't get any damage, but he Tokyo drifted it onto the grass onto the outside, and unfortunately lost time to Guitar Rich and Benny Boy.
Well, he is dropping back now as well, because I noticed he was about 5 seconds behind Guitar Rich. He was about 2 seconds behind Denny, and about 3 seconds behind. And Denny was about 3 seconds behind Guitar Rich, and those gaps are going up. So Cod seems to be losing more time at this point. I don't know whether it's just confidence. A lot of the time it is
actually
confidence.
Closing on Denny now, so
Denny's lost time to Guitar Rich. Denny made a mistake.
He's listening to us talk about him, and he's trying to impress for the team.
Denny made a mistake. I'm 90% sure that Denny made a mistake, because he lost about 2 seconds to Guitar Rich just through that sector alone. But yeah, like you say, Cod now starting to get a bit of a fire in his belly. As look at this, he's closing even more here on Denny. That gap's now 1.6. So yeah, you're right, Ryan. He's now got a bit fired up here.
He's fired up. Kodalungu loves to get a bit fired up.
He's thinking, no, these guys can't talk about me anymore. I'm coming at them now. But anyway, Kodalungu here on a bit of a charge. Andrea Rigamonti, I believe that's our Saver. Says, hi everyone. Shame I couldn't make it tonight. Have a good race. Yeah, shame we couldn't be here tonight, mate, but looking forward to catching you next week. Flaky saying, can you give us the times in another way? It looks awful, Flaky. Ryan can read it out. Ryan, if you want to give us a bit of info on the times at the moment. It's Kodalungu wide coming out of Knickerbrook, all over the grass, gets a bit of damage on the left side of the car. And,
yeah, it's unfortunate for Kodalungu there. He was right on the back of Denny Boy, and he was looking to make a place on him.
Yeah, massively unfortunate there for him.
Do you want me to do the times, did you just say?
Yeah, if you can do the times for us, just on the timetables at this point, just so we can get a better idea of who's doing what pace and who's closing on who, and so on and so forth.
Unfortunately, I cannot get the pace up. It's not letting me see.
What are the times not coming up?
No.
Right, let me just quickly get them up on the screen. So currently the lap times that are showing up on your screen right now. In fact, actually, I can't get them up. No, you're right. You are right. You have got a point. I don't know how to do it. Can somebody tell me how to do it? I have no idea what I'm doing here.
There's two plonkers sitting here just trying to work out this.
I've only done about... I can't swear. I've only done about 300 streams on ACC. You know, I'm not experienced enough yet. I haven't done this enough times. I can't do it.
I can give you the interval times, and that's the best I can do, mate.
I know we've got them on the screen already, so that's not much use. But click on driver. Oh shoot! I remember now. Jazzman.
I'm trying to click on the driver.
Speedy Chris's last lap was a 1:36.9. Problem is, you can't flick driver on this setting though, so you have to literally jump in and out. So yeah,
well, you might want to hop off here as Nielsen is looking at a move onto Torde into the second chicane. Two behemoth motors. These two are the Lexus and the Bentley. Two cars that you don't want to go 3 wide with, which I found out the wrong way that it doesn't work.
Yeah, so Nilsson, he's currently just about under a second here, off at the back of Torde at the moment. Also, one thing I'm noticing on the screen, I don't know whether Spuzz has got a bit of damage here, or what, but Pete Bibb is now only 4 seconds behind him. So Pete
Bibb is closing.
He is really gaining hand over fist. We're
just also looking at the time intervals between Tony and Denny. Tony obviously having to pit stop for the damage earlier in the earlier in the race. He's 23 seconds ahead of Denny Boy, so he should be in the region of Pete Bibb, between Pete Bibb and Guitar Rich. Depending on these guys' pit strategies.
Yeah, as you say, I mean, you know, it depends on how much time you spend in the pit stop, but you've currently got Nilsson at the moment. He's about a tenth of a second off the back of Torde as they're coming out of shallow hairpin.
Trying to make a move here, there, and everywhere on.
Yeah, but the thing is, Torde's just got the speed coming. He's got the speed through the corners. Nilsson seems to have good traction in that Bentley, but Alexis seems to just have a grip through the corners. I don't know what it is, but at the moment, yeah, Torde seems to have the answer to Nilsson. And whatever Nilsson has to throw at him, Torde's like, yep, no, I've got you covered here, mate. Sorry.
Is a very good car, very competitive on Assetto Corsa PS4 still.
Indeed, yeah, Ryan. Obviously, they're just getting a bit confused because we have been playing quite a bit of Project Cars too. Recently, we've been doing quite a bit of racing on Project Cars too. Over the last few weeks, we have got leagues actually on Mondays, Thursdays and Fridays. We've got the touring cars tomorrow night. It'll actually be year 2 in the box right now, in the box tomorrow night for the touring cars. Make sure you tune in at 8:30 PM BST tomorrow night for the touring cars and project cars too. Myself and Ryan will once again be taking you through that. We'll have hopefully a full grid for that one. But yeah, nonetheless, Torde's still trying to hold Nilsson at bay. And Nilsson's wide through Cascades. Where's he gone? Where is he? Where's he ended up here?
He's about a second behind now, mate.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of time there to Torde. Well, not a massive amount of time, but always Torde just backed out of it. Torde has a moment coming through Island Bend, and Nilsson wide through Shell Oil hairpin.
He done a very late breaking point, and that did not go well for Nilsson here.
Yeah, to me it looked like Torde had a moment, but actually I think what it was Nilsson just went completely nuts on the brakes. Made it look like Torde had a moment.
He's in a battle of his own, trying to fight his demons for around the track at the moment on his with 8-second gap to Guitar Rich and over 20 seconds to Torde.
Yeah, at the moment he's just.
Guitar Rich is into the pits. Now this is going to be nice to see what he's going to do for pit stop strategy, as he's just clipped the wall on the entry of the pit lane. Is he going to do a quick stop and go, or is he going to go fuel and go for the rest? Okay, so he is in there. 1, 2. He is down and he is good to go now. Should be going now.
Yeah, looks like a bit of a hold up, so I think he might be.
There we go, he's now down now, he's about to make a move. So
yeah,
he is coming out behind Nilsson. Torde is into the pit lane.
Bit of fuel there for Guitar Rich.
Tony is coming into turn 1. Where is he going to put him out? Guitar Rich has just come through, coming down towards Cascades. So Guitar Rich and Tony have got a little bit of a battle ahead.
Yeah, they have indeed. So Guitar Rich there, just coming down towards Island Bend. It looks like he's a couple of seconds here ahead of Tony. So Guitar Rich managing to get the jump here. Obviously, Tony at the moment.
Boy has gone wide in the final corner.
I wonder how close Guitar Rich is going to be to the podium spots here with Spuzz and Pete Bibb. He could be in the thick of it, you know, for a podium here, Guitar Rich, after the collision on the first lap that he had, obviously, with Denny Boy. To have done the job that he's done.
It's going to be hard to say, depending on how much damage Spuzz has got, but Spuzz has got 5 seconds to Pete Bibb.
He's starting to pull out a bit again now.
Yeah, I've just watched Pete Bibb get caught up behind Denny Boy slightly, but Guitar Rich and Tony are near on a lap down on
Tony has just
Spurs.
gained nearly a second on Guitar Rich, just coming through that middle sector there. So I don't know if
Chris is
Guitar Rich
on
made
a
a mistake.
flyer on his own up the front. He is just coming through to. He's actually trying to close up towards Tony and Guitar Rich, and he's just had a slight moment in the second to last corner. So he's really pushing it as Nilsson's in the pit lane. So where is this going to put him compared to Torde? So Nilsson stops now. Torde is just coming through sector 2. If Nilsson has a slow pit stop, he could come out ahead of Nilsson here.
I think Nilsson should be alright, but yeah, Torde just coming through Warwick Bridge down towards, what is it, Druids and that lot, but yeah, Nilsson's still in that box, so I wonder if he's changing tyres maybe. Looks like he's sat there for quite a long time.
Just coming into the final corner, coming out the final corner and up the hill he comes.
Nilsson's off the jacks.
Nilsson's just off the jacks, and it's going to be side by side out of the pit lane.
Oh, here's Torde. He's through. He's through all call. He's done it. He's done it. He's done it. There he is.
Nilsson's going to be pushing hard now. So they both done tyres, and they've come out in the region that they were in before, which is not too bad.
Decent, yeah.
Now got Archie and Denny Boy have gone a bit ahead of Torde.
Yeah, so Spaz has managed to continue to pull out the gap to Pete.
Tony is looking to make a move on Guitar Rich here up at P5.
He's closed in on him rapidly. The gap was 2.5 seconds when it came out of the pits. Half a second as they come over the line. Tony's on an absolute flyer. He's on a mission here. He had damage, obviously, in the first part of the race. He was in a battle with Speedy Chris before he had the mistake.
Lungu's 30 seconds down on Pete Bibb. So
Guitar Rich deep through Cascades, and that's going to allow Tony up the inside. P5 for Tony. Job done. Speedy Chris, the race leader, into the pit.
Struggling again with this car. He's now 30 seconds behind Pete Bibb.
Yeah, COD not having the night. It's not been too bad. He's kept himself out of trouble. Yeah, I was saying the race leader's in the pits, but the COD it's not been a messy night for him. It's just he's just not really set the world alight, has he? He's not really shown any glimpses of promise. Do you know what I mean? It's just been a little bit just average from COD. Speedy Chris still in the pits. Spaz takes the lead, obviously, still yet to make his pit stop. We've got Pete Bibb 7 seconds behind Spaz at the moment. We've got COD coming over the line.
Chris is just coming out of the pit lane now. COD is just coming across the line.
Yeah, he'll hold on ahead of COD here. So Speedy Chris is now out. Tony is absolutely miles behind Speedy Chris, as you'd expect. It's about 40 seconds behind him on the track.
So, looking at this, it's going to be a close one between Surface Tony as he comes out the pit lane.
It certainly is. It's going to be battle for second place in this race. Pete Bibb also in that battle, although saying that, Spaz has started to just pull out the gap a little bit to Pete Bibb over the last few laps, so it's looking like Spaz should be okay for that P2 to Pete Bibb, but as you say, Ryan, that was a hiccup. Tony Danjo still very much in that fight, as Spaz, Pete Bibb and Tony COD, the only drivers still yet to serve their pit stop here in this race, but we've got Pete Bibb coming out of the start onto the start-finish straight at the moment, and looks like he's not losing too much time to Spaz over that lap. 7.1 the gap between those two. But yeah, as we say, Tony will slot into that battle, could maybe come out in between them for this final stint of the race. And so yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. Archie's on the back of Denny. Sorry, Ryan, to cut off you off there. Archie trying to hassle. Has Denny just got ahead of him? I don't know if Denny's just got ahead of him.
No, Denny's made a mistake because he was right on the back of Guitar Rich.
Yeah, he must have done.
No, to lie, he was behind Archie. Archie and Denny have been
Yeah, he
battling
has just
for
got
a
ahead of
while,
him.
but Codalunga is
Yeah.
into the pit lane. That it's going to be a test on to see what strategy Codalunga is on, which with practice of before seasons before, I've always said to do a quick stop and go, which he has done a stop and go. So this will boost him up quite a bit actually. So Tony's just coming
Thing is,
through turn one.
he's not going to have fresh tyres though.
Codalunga, you depending on how much tyre wear there is, you may not need it. He'll struggle towards the end, but he's got a massive gap to Qatar Rich now.
Well, Cod's aim in this race has now just got to be maintain P5, bring it home, get some good points.
Yeah, P5 is his target, which with Pete Bibb and Spurs, if they both come in and do tyres, it's going to be a close one between Pete Bibb and Codalunga here.
Yeah, it certainly is. So Cod is got the gap down to 1.6, obviously with Tony, but I reckon that gap's going to go up as this stint goes on because, as we know, Cod hasn't changed tyres. He literally just stopped in the box, went up, went down, and then off and away again. So no dramas. He's actually closed the gap a bit.
Closing this gap up, which if he can get ahead of Tony, he can and defend the place. He could cause a spanner in the works for Tony here.
I'm wondering if some of the other drivers have half tanked it, and Cod's been running on a full tank the whole time, because obviously he wasn't in the pits for very long at all. So I reckon he might have stuck a full tank in.
Usually, what
it could explain why he's been a bit off the pace. It could be explained why he's a little bit off the pace. The fact that he's full tanked it, whereas the others have stopped for fuel. So they've
1.1 across the line. It is 1.5. So Codalunga just lost 0.4 of a second in that final sector, but he is on a charge to get this P4 off of Tony. Yeah?
See, it's a bit strange that, because I would have thought that he would have struggled in the first half a lap. Cold tyres.
Spurs has just made a mistake. Just clicked onto him as he was off track slightly.
Yeah, he's looking alright though. Pete's gained about a second on him, but no massive drama here.
These two are not making that pit stop yet. I don't know if Pete Bibb's going to do it yet. Nope,
he's staying out for the time being. Obviously feels like he doesn't need to do it yet. Just under 5 seconds now, the gap. So Ryan, you're absolutely right. Spuz with a bit of a mistake, which has now cost him quite a bit of time here to the man currently in second place. But obviously these two are net second and third, with Speedy Chris being the net race leader. Could even be a net third and fourth, depending on where Tony Danjo ends up once this all is said and done. Tony's now pulled out about 3 tenths to Cod on this lap so far, so he seems to have the measure of Cod at the moment, and as we both predicted, Cod's tyres are only going to deteriorate relative to the others for the rest of this race, so I don't think that that's going to get any better for him. It's going to be a case of damage limitation, keep it going for Codalunga.
I've just clicked onto Torde. Fortunately, he's lost the battle to Nielsen. He's now back down to P10.
Yeah, so and that gap is now actually near enough 10 seconds now between Nielsen and Torde. So I think that pretty much has petered out there for Torde. As you see him a bit wide there on the exit of the Cascades, just kicking a bit of the grass up there. You don't want to be mowing the lawn too much, because that will definitely make you the subject of a few scorns from the other drivers.
So he's leading these net P1, P2. They're keeping the gap between each other.
Yeah.
Just wondering when they're going to make this pit stop, because they've got 15 minutes to go, and they're not going to get these tyres up to optimum with 10 minutes to go.
No,
so they want to be making this pit stop soon.
Yeah, they definitely do. Get it done and out of the way. So obviously then, if the first driver to come in and get the pit stop done, it then puts the other guy under pressure, because it's like, okay, here's my roll of the dice. Now you've got to go and do something, and obviously it kind of like it puts you under pressure a bit more. Having said that, when the shoe's on the other foot, when you're the driver that's leading or you're the driver that's ahead because you haven't made your pit stop, it kind of leaves the guy who's coming first chasing it. So I understand the mentality either way, you know. it really, there is no advantage to do it one way or the other. It's exactly the same thing if you think about it logically, but psychologically, it's a very different story. But Spurs obviously still has got the net P2 in this race, P1 out on track. The gap staying at around the same between these two, and neither of them showing any signs yet of wanting to come in. Obviously, no mandatory pit window, and it doesn't look like either of these guys are going to be changing tyres, so it doesn't really matter when they come in. They could just leave it to the last lap. It makes absolutely not a single bit of difference when they come in to the length of their pit stop, or down to the nature of what they're going to be getting changed when they come in. Pete Bibbs just gained 0.6 of a second though on Spuz on this lap, so now it looks like Pete Bibbs starting to gain a bit of confidence. Did Spuz make a mistake potentially?
He's gained a point, or Spuz is just losing that back end. Those tyres are making a way
the back marker out of the way. Back marker's at a moment.
Windsor.
Yeah, Windsor's
I'm still really worried about these two at the front.
Pete Bibb through here. Hopefully he does. Windsor does let Pete Bibb through. He's on the racing line there. Pete Bibb has to go to the inside. Pete Bibb, though, he's got the gap down to 3.3 here to Spuz. So Spuz there struggling.
Make a mistake on the final corner.
Yeah.
He lost the back end, just coming in, came in a bit too hot. But that's the only issue with these the Porsches and the high wing little GT3s is that when they're not bulky, say it's like the Bentley or the Lexus, the back end just steps out so easily.
Jazzman just says in the comments here, he goes, Spuz could jump Speedy Chris if he comes in, does a stop and go. He could potentially jump Speedy Chris. 19 seconds the gap.
It's going to be tight if he come in a bit earlier and done stop go earlier and not overcooked his tyres. He would have done it, but he's in the range of his tyres burning out now. So this stop and go is going to be a tight one for him.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Nielsen is right on the back of Denny Boy here. Denny Boy's had an issue.
Denny's got damage on the front. Look at that. That is
massive damage.
Yeah,
that'll give Torde a place up to P9.
You'd think so. Yeah.
Denny Boy pits.
You'd think so. The thing is, in that situation, it's not even about losing time. It's just about comfort. At the end of the day, I just want to come in just so I can actually control the car. It's not going to be enjoyable driving a car when it's that impaired. So I reckon I would have to say I think that Denny Boy's going to be. I think Denny Boy's going to be bringing it in this time around. If I'm perfectly honest with you.
Oh, is that just slow moving Lexus off?
You're right there, mate.
I'm really tired.
I do feel the same. To be fair, I've been
long day at work,
about
mate.
3 hours last night, mate. Yeah, I was up at 4 o'clock this morning for work as well. 3 hours sleep last night. Hopefully it's not showing on the stream, but hopefully we've been able to. Flaky says sleep well. Oh, Pete Bibb has made a mistake. Pete Bibb's made a massive mistake coming through Britain's onto the grass, and that's going to potentially derail his chances of taking a second place in this race. And also, Speedy Chris has got the gap down to 17 seconds now to Spuz, so I think that it's more than likely.
That stop and go is not going to happen.
No, certainly not now. It's going to be a little while there.
Spuz needs to make this pit stop now because the gap between... Oh, actually, he's going to have a massive gap between Speedy Chris and Tony. The only thing is that if he goes for tyres, it's going to be close.
Nah, Spuz, there's no point in changing tyres now. He's done 50 minutes of this race on one set of tyres. He'd be an idiot to change tyres now. There's no point. At the end of the day, you've committed to one strategy at this point. You've just got to stick to it. You've got to stick to your strategy. Stick to your guns at this point, I'd say. Here we go.
Is Pete Bibb going to do a stop and go, or what are we going to see now?
The thing is, Speedy Chris on his fresher tyres is going about a second a lap quicker than Spuz at the moment. So I reckon Spuz has truly given up on a win. I think he's just been dropped. He's gone. Yeah, there he goes.
So
but yeah, I
think
Spuz is
up to P2. Yeah, he's going to be net P2.
No, Speedy. Yeah.
Net P2.
Yeah.
Tony D'Angio is just coming through the final corner.
Nowhere near him.
So we should be seeing Spurs coming in this lap.
Yeah, Tony nowhere near Pete Bibb, nowhere near a podium spot. So Spurs obviously, I think, is going to be kissing goodbye to his hopes of a race win here. He's not got enough of a gap to Speedy Chris, nothing near enough of a gap to be able to take this win. He's probably going to come out about 10 seconds behind Speedy Chris once the pit stops are done into the final 10 minutes here. Speedy Chris has driven a brilliant race. Tony D'Angio looked like he could have challenged him in this one, but made a mistake shortly before, maybe about a third of the way into the race it would have been. Tony D'Angio made a mistake, got some damage, had to come into the pits for some lengthy repairs.
Spurs is into the pit lane now, so this is going to be the tight question. Is he going to do a stop and go or not?
I reckon he'll come out in P2.
Down the pit lane. He possibly will. He comes into the box. He is stopped.
Yeah, that's
Pete Bibb just coming through the final corner. Oh,
Pete
he's dropped now.
Could jump him here.
It's going to be close on the exit. No, Spurs is going to have him by a long shot.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
Pete Bibb may be able to jump him if he can keep it on the track, because Spurs has been struggling with that rear end for the last 10 minutes or so.
Do we reckon Spurs changed tyres?
Nope.
Do you reckon Pete Bibb did?
Nope.
Right, so yeah, they're in the same situation really. 4 seconds between them.
But you've got to remember, Pete Bibb made a mistake. So Spurs may have done the repair on his damage, but Pete Bibb made that mistake before the pit stop.
Yeah, he certainly did. But
Tony's just coming through Ireland now, and Kodalungu's just over 6 seconds behind.
Could maybe be a late rally. But yeah, I think, like you say, Pete Bibb made a mistake, and yeah, if you made a mistake before, he might make one again. There's always a possibility.
He's in the pit lane. That is jumped Torde up ahead of him. It might jump Windsor up ahead of him as well.
Windsor there rattling over the curbs coming out of Lodge Corner. Danny Boy's still, I think, in the box. Yep, he's not moving. Doesn't look like he's going anywhere fast. So Windsor coming round. P10. Is it going to be? Is he on the same lap? I think he is. So yeah, Windsor here taking another few points.
As soon as he crosses this first sector line.
Sector point, yeah. Flakey says Pete can get P2 if he keeps it together. I mean, he probably needs Spurs to make a mistake. Oh, he's closing. Look, he's gained half a second.
He's closed half a second in that lap. So Pete Bibb has always been in a team that has been rival to me. So it's nice to be cheering him on for once. He's a talented driver, and he is making his way up the grid, and he will be making his debut of being a champion at some point.
For sure, yeah. I must admit, it's it's a shame not to see you out on track, Ryan, but it's also great to have you in the comms box. I genuinely mean that sincerely, because it's the first time we've ever done a comms together, and I feel like it's a really good partnership, if I'm honest. I'm not trying to be all soppy and but no, I think I really enjoyed tonight. I think it's been a good showing for the viewers. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it in the box. I enjoyed it on the chat, not in the box. We're in the box, you're in the chat. But if you guys have enjoyed it, please smash the like button if you appreciate.
Chat's definitely thinking that you're trying to drag me out of racing to do comms, and then you can go racing.
Your new permanent commentator, former retired racer in the ACC Championships, Ryan Ruby.
No, to be fair, I will be making a return, and I will be making a return with...
See, secretly, I wanted him back out on track as soon as possible. I knew that if I got him to do a comms with me tonight, that would make him want to get his rig as soon as possible. So I thought to myself...
Funny enough, I went out for a practice lap, and my pedal just didn't want to work, so I got halfway around the track, and I was going over the hill, and it was like half throttle, and I was just like, I can't do this. So Pete Bibb actually has lost a second lap to Spurs, so he's just got 5 minutes to close 4 seconds. And all he's got to hope is Spurs makes a mistake here.
Was he just pushing a little bit too hard there, maybe Pete Bibb, possibly seeing that he's not got enough many laps left to try and close that gap, and because he has gained another 3 attempts through this first sector, so he's now started to bring it back down again. He's got the pace.
He's very quick through this first sector, I've noticed.
Yeah, he's got the pace, but I think maybe he just got a bit overexcited on that last lap. That could have cost him.
He made it very. It's very hard through this chicane, and this is where he's made multiple mistakes tonight. And even the best of drivers make mistakes there. I make mistakes there, and some of the fellow drivers that he's worked with and raced against have made mistakes there quite often.
Indeed, yeah. But we can see also live lady in the comments saying bromance in the air. In regards to this new commentary partnership here tonight. Also, guys, if any of you were expecting to hear Freeman on the mic tonight, unfortunately, he's not able to be here. His car got stuck. His car broke down on the motorway, and he's had to wait to get picked up. So, unfortunately, has had to make his apologies for tonight. Hopefully, we'll have Freeman back on the mic. Who knows if Ryan's still not got his pedals sorted out by this time next week? We could have the 3 of us in the box, but I hope for Ryan's sake he does get that sorted out. But as I say, it's been a pleasure tonight for this opening round of the season. And
I don't think it'll be next week, possibly the week after. I looked at the delivery date for him, and it was saying the end of the week, and that was yesterday. So
yeah, okay.
Possibly gonna be ordering them Monday after I get paid, and hopefully they'll be here by Friday, and I can get them fitted for start of next week. It should be a shame because there's I'm enjoying the Clios on Project Cars 2, and I was really looking forward to the GT5 series on Project Cars 2 on Friday.
Well, as I say, hopefully we might even have you back for the GT5s round 2, maybe if you get it, if you're able to get it by next Friday. Who knows? But
I might be able to nab my way into using a controller for a race or two.
Yeah, possibly, because it's a bit easier to use the controller on Project Cars. I know on ACC it's nigh on impossible.
It's impossible on Project Cars 2. I cannot deal with it.
You can. I tell you what, the Clios you'll struggle on default setups, but GT5s you could probably work your way around it. It's not easy, but it's possible. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. But in the meantime, Pete Bibb is now not really gaining too much on Spurs.
He's now 3.8 though. He's all he's got to hope for is Spurs makes a mistake, which that gap looks smaller than 3.8 seconds. It is. It's 3.2. Is that the Windsor stop coming down to Cascades? Or this is going to be close between Windsor and Spurs. Windsor's got to get out of the way for... Spurs has spun!
Oh my! This is going to get Pete Bibb P2 here in this race. Pete Bibb moves up! Fantastic drive from Pete Bibb over the course of tonight, and he's going to get his reward. Second place here in this opening round of the season. I said earlier on he was keeping it under the radar. He was in a podium spot, obviously, with Tony Danjo's mistake. And he now finds himself in second place due to the mistakes from Spuz and Tony. Consistency has been his reward tonight. And Pete Bibb, I'm delighted to see him in this position. Obviously, runner-up in the GT4 class for the multi-class series a couple of seasons ago to yourself, Ryan. And as you say, wouldn't it be great to see this man managing to stage a championship challenge?
Runner-up to me? No, that was John Jig, mate.
Oh, was it? I do apologise. I'm sorry, John Jig. I thought it was Pete Bibb.
No, Pete Bibb.
My memory's falling to pieces. I do apologise.
It was me.
That's embarrassing. John Jig, I'm sorry. John Jig actually is in the comments right now. I do apologise, John Jig.
John Jig's going to be fuming. He's going to be making a...
Yeah, I got confused because they're teammates. They use the same number combination, just the other way around. That's why. Pete Bibb is 818 and John Jig's 181. That's my excuse. That's my excuse.
Which I'm surprised I've not seen John Jig here tonight. One of the drivers that I was expecting to see showed a lot of talent last season. In the wet condition at Silverstone last season, he just come out of nowhere and ended up winning the race. he was wondering the wet
He's
with
one
that
of them drivers.
Lamborghini.
One of them drivers who, on his day, can just throw up a massive surprise and absolutely
It's
just
just
blow everyone
questioning,
away.
does if Spurs makes one more mistake, he could lose P3 here. No, he won't, because Tony's just made a mistake. That might give the chance of Kodalungu catching here.
Yeah, we've got to cut to the leader though, Ryan, because Speedy Chris is coming through the final sector, and what a drive it's been from Chris on his debut here in a competitive race here at Motive in our actual official ACC leagues. And he was having a great tussle with Tony Danjo in the opening stages of the race. Tony then made a mistake, which has kind of given him a little bit, it's let him off the hook a little bit over the course of tonight. But Speedy Chris has not put a foot wrong and up towards the line. It's going to take the opening round of the season here at Motive for the GT3s on a Wednesday night, as he does a little bit of theatrics there over the line. Speedy Chris takes the checkered flag in the number 64 pink and black Bentley. And what a superb inception from Speedy Chris here tonight. Pete Bibb is going to come up towards Lodge Corner. It's going to be second place here for Pete Bibb.
Here.
We're going to just
getting close between Kodalungu and Tony here.
Tony's paddling. Tony is paddling as we see Pete Bibb coming over the line to take a well-deserved second place. Brilliant stuff from Pete Bibb. Spuzz is going to come out of the last corner, Lodge up towards the line. Third place for Spuzz, a solid podium finish.
Can make it in the final corner? And
he's going to come up short. He's just going to come up short here. Cod, I think, isn't going to get there. Tony coming out of Lodge.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, here comes Tony now.
Will come along with Tony to get fourth and fifth place. With Guitar Rich, unfortunately, having a struggle, and he will end up in P6.
Yeah. Guitar Rich showed great potential over the course of this race, didn't he? I mean, he got pole position and had the pace, but the collision.
You've got a caller.
Yeah, it's my boss. He wants me to bring in the keys to my work, or he wants me to pick them up.
We're just going to see Tony.
Ryan, if you're. By the way, my boss's name is Ryan as well. By the way, Ryan, if you're watching, I will be bringing him up in a minute. Oh no, I'll be going up there in a minute to pick him up. But oh god.
No, he's definitely not watching.
No, he's definitely not. But anyway, that is that then, guys. That's the classification. 11 cars started, 11 cars finished the race as well. So good to see the race completion ratio looking good. Obviously, the grid a bit depleted for the opening round of the season tonight, but some great racing and some thoroughly enjoyable action there. Speedy Chris taking the opening round of the season ahead of Pete Bibb in second place. Spuzz completing the podium ahead of Tony Danjo in fourth, followed by Kodalungu, who came in home in fifth place. Guitar Rich sixth. Then Archie seventh. Nilsson finishing eighth place ahead of Tourde ninth. Windsor in 10th, and Denny Boy completing the classification in P11. But Ryan, was a pleasure tonight, mate, to have you in the box. We never done a comms on the actual streams before, but yeah, I must say, very, very enjoyable indeed.
It's a good partnership. Looking forward to the seasons ahead and the commentaries with the sought after and planned possibly tournament.
Yes, Rallycross. Indeed, we are planning on doing a Project Cars 2 Rallycross series at some point, definitely in the making. But we got Lightblade there, says Pete Bibb for driver of the day. Chris has got the win in the bag. John Jig, yes, Pete smashed it, absolutely did. Second place here in this one.
I definitely agree. Pete Bibb has driven fantastic. Even though Chris has been leader since the start, Pete Bibb has had some issues. He's had some runoffs. And he's kept it together for the whole race, and he's come out with that P2. With unfortunate that Spuzz had just overheated his rear tyres a little bit.
Absolutely, but yeah, well done to Pete Bibb nonetheless for being there, right place at the right time. But thanks everybody, guys. Thanks everybody in the comments section, guys. If you did enjoy, please smash that like button. As I say, it helps us out massively. And subscribe to the Motive channel as well if you're watching for the first time. Join us tomorrow night. We will be live at 8:30, a bit of a later start for the touring cars tomorrow night. That will be on Project Cars 2, 8:30 p.m. BST, that's UK time. Then on Friday night we'll have the GT5 Genetic Cup, which will be kicking off at Snetterton. Well, actually a bit later, 9 p.m. UK time for that one. And then Sunday night we'll have the GT3 Sprint Championship around this time, a bit earlier, 6 p.m. UK time for that one. That'll be from Brands Hatch. But yeah, thanks everybody once again, and we will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Cheers.